The recovered children are the key. It is their stories and the stories of their parents and what their parents did that are going to solve the issue of autism. The world needs to see these kids, and they need to hear from their moms and dads, figure out what they went through, and start to do the same kind of thing.
If he had to live with me the rest of his life, that was all good. You know, I had to raise him and keep him with me until I died, then that was fine.
All that we wanted for them and all that we still want for them is to have the opportunities of all the other kids, of our daughter Sloan.
He got really, really sick, and he was dehydrated, and he had a virus, and he wouldn't eat. He was just not a happy kid anymore.
Is he ever going to have the capabilities of having relationships with people in a meaningful way?
Okay, can I kiss her?
I knew that she was autistic. I knew she was autistic from when she stopped talking.
A lot of it was self-imposed by us letting her get her vaccinations.
I wanted anything but autism, because it had such a negative prognosis.
When I die, is he going to be all right? And who's going to take care of him? And what do I have to do between now and then to make sure he's okay?
This is my son and his future. And it's like, I don't care what anyone says.
What do you mean? What do I do? Just go to bed, tomorrow's gonna be brand new.
Ryder was the happiest, most normally developing baby anybody could ever hope for. The one thing that he didn't do was he wasn't talking as well as he should. I filmed him doing these repetitive actions and motions and gibberish and lining up crayons and breaking them and peeling them and crying when they were all gone, and I just knew I needed to document what was going on with him.
You want to see picture? Can you say, I want to see picture? Say, see picture.
I took him to my pediatrician. He would say things to me like, he's speaking gibberish, but at least he's speaking. And I would say, but that's not normal. That's not right. He referred us to a behavioral pediatrician. She came back and said, nope, he's just a normal kid, but he's highly reactive, and you know, he'll straighten himself out. It wasn't until months later that I had an aunt come and visit, and within minutes of her looking at him, she knew immediately that he had autism. I went on the internet that night, looked it up, and I knew it too. It took about 5 minutes for me to find out that my child had autism, when for probably 6 or 7 months I'd been asking doctors and people for help and was getting nothing.
It took us a while to get to the proper channels that we needed to get proper diagnosis, proper information on treatments that were available. All of these things were kind of trial and error.
I remember looking up these websites and seeing these stories and thinking, if there are children out there that are recovering, I don't see why mine can't be one of them.
I promise!
I promise!
To be a good person.
To be a good person.
With knowledge in my mind.
Knowledge in my mind.
Of course, all the doctors and professionals want to tell you, we haven't really seen that these kids are getting better, or we don't really know that the mercury in vaccines is doing this, or we don't really know that the diet does anything.
But not really a whole lot of information is being given out saying this is the path you need to take.
There are thousands of people, if not more, that are living this path of recovery because they've gotten the information and they've implemented these interventions.
Okay, we're getting bits and pieces of him back. Working with potentially a DAN doctor, someone that knows how to treat autistic kids, and putting them onto a protocol that makes sense for that particular child. You're like, okay, we can cross that one off the list, we're on to the next thing. Here we have a normal child, if whatever normal is. That's what we're feeling more and more each day.
Baxter, did you give Peter a kiss? Did you give the baby a kiss? Is that the baby's pacifier? Can I have the baby's pacifier, please?
I am a special education teacher. That is my training. And I was trained that there is no cure, there is no recovery for autism.
How about a gummy?
We were told that in fact there was nothing wrong. What are you talking about? You cannot tell me that 18 months of nonstop diarrhea is normal.
He had 4 live viruses at his 12-month vaccinations. He had more words at a year than he did at 3.
Can you say Baxter? Nah. What book are you reading? Teletubbies. Okay, Mommy's gonna turn off the camera.
This is the child that was diagnosed with autism. Do you know anything about autism, my friend?
Poison.
Can you look over there?
It's poisonous.
It's poisonous? Tell me more about that. What do you remember what it was like when you had autism?
It was the skeleton with the crossbone.
Everything that you run into in life, whether it's normal children or normal families, none of that applies. We were so desperate that we were willing to do whatever it took.
I think my biggest fears were emotional and socially based for him. And fortunately, I don't have those fears anymore.
Retrospect and looking back after he got his MMR, which was the live attenuated viral vaccine, the triple jab, that's when things really started unraveling. That's when he should have been acquiring words and he wasn't speaking. I was looking on the internet and I just kept coming back to autism because all of the symptoms that they described were exactly the same as all of the behaviors my child was exhibiting. He doesn't make eye contact. He walks on his toes. He's got chronic diarrhea. He can't point. He can't speak. He doesn't care if we're in the room. He doesn't care about anybody. It wasn't going to change anything I had already started doing because I had gotten the ball rolling and I was on my way. I got in touch with Dan doctors and I started researching in the gluten, casein, celiac area. And that's what got me on the gluten-free, casein-free diet, which made a huge difference in his behavior. I had just started the diet with Nat. All the pediatricians in the office would come in and check on you. And I said, guys, you would not believe I put my kid on a gluten-free casein diet. He starts talking. He's starting to make eye contact. His diarrhea is clearing up. A couple of them looked at me and said, don't talk to me about this. I don't believe in that. The whole Dan movement that was started by Bernard Rimland, which is the effort to create a protocol to cure children of autism, that protocol was created by parents, researchers, and doctors. This is the genetic profiling. And then I've got my supplement schedule, which I've been mixing for years, so I just keep track of what I put in their supplements over the years. It would be wrong to discount the parents when they're the ones who are really doing the hard research. And then I have all the hair tests showing the mercury and the heavy metals, which I've graphed out for a while. As I chelated, lead went way up and came back down. You can see their hair tests are a mess, especially after I started supplementation, everything went up. I have people coming up to me saying, I remember when you were saying this 6 years ago and I just saw a study confirming X, Y, or Z. You were so far ahead of the curve, and it's only because of that I have a child that age who's 100% recovered.
We didn't really realize what was going on with the older one until he was getting, past his toddler years. We had figured out what was going on, but it had gone on for so long.
I started looking at this objectively as if someone else would look at it, and I started realizing, hey, this kid's autistic, regardless of what anybody says.
With the younger one, we were well aware of what we were looking for, and we were watching him like a hawk. Started crawling in weird patterns around the house, like in circles or backwards.
Both these guys have the same thing. They're both sick, and something's just not right.
Started to try to say mom and dad, and then it kind of just went away, and he started talking in this other language, which at the time we just found absolutely adorable. But when he's getting 2 and 3 and he's still using that language and not managing for anything with the real words, it just seemed to be progressing.
What is your doctor doing? Your family practitioner is there to give vaccinations. That is his job. That is his bread and butter. Every time you go into the doctor, there's a pharmaceutical rep in there trying to sell him something else. And vaccines are part of that.
Our pediatrician, who was just a super nice guy, every time I went to him with Caden, in tears, there's something going on with this kid. He's out of control at home. He's never calm. I almost felt like a crazy person sometimes. Like I was telling the doctor all of these things that he did, and he couldn't see them. So I think he thought I was just an overreactive mother.
I got 8 vaccinations when I was a child. My kid's got 23.
I remember one day him getting 6 vaccinations. He had the MMR and then 3 other ones, and I was so sad. It was so horrible just to watch him get the shots. We didn't realize anything at the time, and we thought that we were doing what was right for his safety.
Even if he gets a sore throat or gets sick or gets the flu, I'm mad at myself because he shouldn't be having immune dysfunction. He shouldn't be getting sick.
You can't just read a book about this stuff and start it and get it done. You need support, as much support as you can possibly get.
And I understand the people who have tried it and it's failed, and there's people out there who have, but I would tell them to keep trying. I got one recovered and one that's way better than he was.
Sometimes it seems like you're taking 2 steps back, and that's really hard to work through until you see those 3 steps forward.
I am 100% certain that Maisie's autism was caused by her vaccines. Something happened to her. She was sweet, she was funny, she was engaged, and after she got her shots, she just got lost.
I started finding out or figuring out there was something wrong. We couldn't see any pain in her or anything where she was doing that. She was just really quiet into herself.
And then we gave her more shots, and she was completely gone.
I didn't want to admit it. I didn't want to say, gosh, maybe there's something wrong with my daughter, but heaven forbid, I'm sure glad that we decided that maybe there is something wrong with our daughter and move forward with some of these, diets and some of this other stuff to make sure, because, maybe I'd still be saying, hey, there's nothing wrong with her.
We put her on the gluten-free, casein-free diet, and within a week she started talking.
Good morning, Dad. And I just, oh my God, what did you just say?
We were shocked. It was the most language we'd gotten out of her in almost a year.
Kind of overnight with the chelation, she kind of just getting the metals out of her body.
She'd been in speech therapy for 6 months, and she learned 6 words. And here she is, in 5 minutes, coming out with 7 or 8 more. If we could get that mercury out of her before she was 3, and that window of brain development, I thought maybe we could get her back. A little bit, just something back. That was kind of the clincher for me that we were headed in the right direction.
Do I think we should vaccinate? Yeah, there's probably some times where you should, but should we get the mercury out of the vaccinations? Absolutely.
You can't give up. All these kids are so different. What works for my kid, it's not going to work for your kid necessarily. Nothing that we've tried will hurt Maisie. There's nothing we've given her that could possibly hurt her. So if you don't try and you don't know and you can't hurt them, it's one of those things that you should give it a try.
You must be tired of running from the voice voice deep down inside, the one that calls your name time and time again to ask you why. New beginning from a never-ending why. I am so scared. Just one more step will set you free. But first you gotta stand. I thought you wanted out. I thought you wanted.
You don't fix them, who will? I mean, you have to find this out for yourself. You have to keep moving, because you can't sit still. You've only got a little window of time.
Autism has broken the trust, in my mind, probably for generations to come. It's only going to get uglier before this thing gets fixed. It's going to take a long, long time, and it's going to require some very, very forthright commentary and accountability. And more importantly, action.
A recovered autistic child is the trump card that says what they've done wrong.
You know, you say, oh, I don't see mercury, so he doesn't have it. But no, he has it because he's gotten it in his body from his vaccines and my Rogam shot, but he can't excrete it.
80,000 toxins. There's a lot of toxins. I think viruses are a problem. I think our food supply is a problem.
And you keep putting this into their body, at some point there's a tipping point.
You assault the immune system, and then you inject it with a live virus.
It's a metabolic train wreck where your body's constantly trying to keep itself healthy, and your body's very resilient. But if you keep adding in vaccines, artificial colors, antimonian mattresses,
that's just a recipe for disaster.
It is no longer the case that you have to rely solely on the advice of one pediatrician.
They are taught an algorithm. They're taught how to prescribe antibiotics and give vaccines. They have one bag of tricks.
These pediatricians are telling me, hey, they're working on other skills, and the problem's going south.
The care and prognosis of my child, given the need to work quickly with a child with a developing brain, it's not worth sticking around with someone who isn't really 100% on top of their game.
Essentially, at least in the government's situation, they'd have to admit fault in that these children were actually harmed by the environment.
It's a battle, and I don't know why it's a battle. It's not a matter of good or bad. It's a matter of let's save the children.
It is possible to test thimerosal and its safety, and they refuse to do it. They refuse to do it. They refuse to fund that study. Why? What are they afraid of?
If you include the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine, those are 3 viruses right there that they're showing are definitely connected with autism.
I want an apology. I want an apology.
There are tens of thousands of children, we call it biomedical intervention, being biomedically treated for autism right now, whose parents are witnessing the recovery, who are watching words return, who are watching socialization return, who are watching receptive language return, and who are watching their children normalize. You're given this sliver of hope, this little tiny crack in the door, and you are going to run through it with everything you have.
When he went on the special diet, not only did his language appear, but those self-interest behaviors started to disappear. His night terrors went away.
And I couldn't let him have any gluten or casein or soy.
It's trying to find the right recipe for the things that work, the things that don't work.
Same thing, restarted with the night terrors. When he started the diet, they went away immediately, and his language started to blossom again.
The longer you wait, the longer it takes, and the less chance of recovery.
The quicker you intervene, the more likely you're going to have a mainstream child.
Do we chelate or not? Do we try to get the heavy metals out?
We've only been once or twice in 2 years. Some IV
no more
chelation.
blood sugars for me.
No.
Well, chelation is a process of taking a substance which actually binds with mercury and heavy metals and escorts it out of the body. There's 3 main forms of chelation. There's an IV chelation, there's oral chelation, and now they have transdermal creams.
Right now, we are almost exclusively doing homeopathy with Ryder.
I chose oral chelation because it was the type of chelation that was the safest. I can use a super low dose. I can take my time.
Any number of these means can make a difference, and making some difference is probably the greatest gift you can give your child.
I really recommend the Autism Research Institute, or ARI. an ARI founded DAN, which stands for Defeat Autism Now with an exclamation point. And they have a group of doctors that are around the country, and actually I believe around the world, that they have trained, that have taken the DAN training, and they are taught to understand the medical issues that our children almost all seem to have.
Autism Mercury, Chelating Kids 2,
Generation Rescue and TACA,
National Autism Association, Safe Minds,
GFCF Kids, or a whole lot of groups where there are thousands and thousands of parents who are currently going through this and have a lot of advice to give. That's where you get your practical advice.
They do come out of the fog.
People call it a miracle, and I mentioned it as a miracle, but I guess you really can't call it a miracle. You call it a lot of hard work.
There's this wonderful force out there of autism community, all wanting to do the right thing for our children, to recover them, to bring them back to what they were before.
and you should avail yourself of that community without shame, without waiting 1 second.
Focus every bit of energy and every ounce of your being into your child's getting better.
Nothing but good change is going to occur. I think you embody that wholeheartedly with hope. That's where it needs to start.
I'm here. It's Texas in Texas?
Texas is Texas.
People see. Some people say she came along, she picked me up. I didn't even know I was down, and she tuned out all those voices that were around. Some people say.
Dad, touch your feet. Dad, touch your eye. Touch your neck. I didn't say something.
Silly mommy.
Let's try again. I got on gluten-free, dairy-free, and didn't have any autism.
I took a chance and left behind all the whispers in my mind.
What is good food for Baxter's body?
Grapes. Sometimes crackers.
Gluten-free crackers?
Waffles sometimes.
Sometimes gluten-free waffles.
But he's fascinated by this book for some reason.
You know why?
Why?
You know why I like it? Because it has funny pictures.
It does. Like, here we have the nucleus with a little guy who's not very happy because he's an inactive glucokinase. And the active glucokinase is happy.
Hot dogs, juice. Is there anything else?
Well, Mommy tries hard to get you to eat some vegetables, and you're not so great at that. We work at that. Right?
And then I ate yucky yellow stuff for a long time, and then I said, I'm going to take pills instead. So that's what I do now, take pills instead. I drink yucky yellow stuff.
I don't have autism anymore.
Thankfully, the path that we took led us to, this great point in Ryder's recovery.
You will do anything you can for your children against all odds and against the establishment and against what people say is doable or not doable.
We've just been working with him for 3 short years, and right now, we've got a pretty normal life.
Baxter was diagnosed by 5 different sources as autistic, and he no longer is.
I'm not sad, I'm happy, I'm elated. I just have 2 of the most lovely children, and they love me so much, and I love them so much.
We gon' take it on down the track. We gon' get out of miles and back. Pound the pavement, pass the buck. Pack the boxes, load the truck. Just another place for us to try our luck. where the weather's fine and the folks are nice. Get twice the value and half the price. If you never try it, you never know. You gotta stretch if you wanna grow. Keep a lookout for our letters from the road. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, nothing to it. It's the highway and the low. We ain't afraid of facing the what ifs and I don't know. So let's do it. Let's raise our glasses high and toast the West Coast searching that we do. Because you never know until